Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So is Moises Caicedo to Manchester United happening? Now recent reports have said that Chelsea are looking to hijack our move, and Chelsea have been in negotiations. It's also mentioned that Brighton and Newcastle have expressed an interest. Now Caicedo has made an admission saying that he loves Kante, but he's already revealed that his favourite club is Manchester United. Diario Extra, which is an Ecuadorian outlet, they recently said that negotiations were at an advanced stage between Manchester United and Independiente del Valle. And it's also mentioned that we have outbid AC Milan and RB Leipzig. Now it recently said that Caicedo was undergoing his medical with Man United, and it said he is set to sign a 5-year contract with Manchester United. It says we're going to get him for around 4.5 million. Now Independiente del Valle said they value him at around 5.5 million with add-ons included, and it said they wanted a 20% sell-on clause. Caicedo is only the age of 19. He's a holding midfielder. He played in Ecuador's 4-2 win against Uruguay back in October. If he does come to Manchester United, he will be the second Ecuadorian to represent the club. So he's supposed to be our first signing of the January transfer window. Now, I want to delve into some news on Paul Pogba. So according to Eurosport, Juventus won Paul Pogba for £50 million in January. Don't forget, Paul Pogba endured 4 exceptional years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United. Now, it said the other week that Juventus were willing to offer 2 players for Pogba, and that was Bernardeschi and Paulo Dybala. There's also been rumours saying that Ronaldo could even be part of a deal of Paul Pogba going back to Juventus. Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. Earlier on this season, he made an admission saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid, because don't forget, Real Madrid were relentlessly linked with him. And he said last year that he wanted to leave Man United because he was seeking for a new challenge. PSG have been in for him before, so too have Barcelona, and so too have Inter Milan. Now, Minio Raiola, who is Paul Pogba's agent, he told 2 Sport that Paul Pogba's career at Manchester United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave, and he said that he's got no intentions of signing a new contract, and he said, he has to leave in January. He made this announcement just before the RB Leipzig game, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was furious with the time of the announcement. And then obviously he made a fresh statement saying that it's unlikely Paul Pogba will leave in January, but he can leave next summer. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, didn't he, not so long ago, that Paul Pogba can be convinced to stay at the club if the club win trophies. Ollie mentioned that Paul Pogba's got a good attitude and he has the right mentality at Manchester United. To Paul Pogba's credit, he has done well since he's come back from that ankle injury. He did well in the game against Everton in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. He did well in the game against Sheffield. His movement was very good and he played a part in one of the goals. He also did well in the RB Leipzig game when he came on, got his name on the score sheet. Also did well in the 3-1 win against West Ham, scored an exceptional goal. That game against West Ham earlier on in the season was his first start in the Premier League for over a month. The ankle injury that he had earlier on this season was totally comparison to the one that he had last season because he was out for the vast majority of last season. Don't forget earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. This was also confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. During the last international break, don't forget, Paul Pogba made quite a few comments saying like this season has been the most difficult period in his career. And he was saying like playing for France is a breath of fresh air. And in general, he was talking about his Man United struggles this season. But reflects on them comments, he did receive a lot of criticism. And the France manager, Didier Deschamps, was talking a lot about him. But this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. He's made over 100 appearances for Man United in all competitions. He's won 3 trophies at the club, and that was the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. Don't forget, we had him when he was a lot younger under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. He's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. And he did enjoy a very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, but so too did all our top players. So that's the breaking news on Paul Pogba. Obviously, next year we are looking to make more signings. Like I've already gone through with you, we have got a lot of players on our agenda. And we've already revealed the 4 positions we want to strengthen up. So we are looking to recommend a right runner in. We're looking to recommend a defensive midfielder in. We're looking to recommend a centre-half in. And we're also looking to recommend a right-back in. Ed Woodward's recently changed our transfer strategy. Now, hopefully, in January and next summer, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets the backing that he deserves. Because during the summer transfer window, the board didn't back him enough. And Solskjaer showed his frustration towards the board quite a few times during the summer. But Ed Woodward has come out several times to support Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, despite us having a poor start to the season and despite us getting knocked out of the Champions League. Like I've already gone through with you, the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. There's obviously there's still problems with some players at the football club. We're obviously going to get rid of players next year. There is still deadwood at the club that we do need to get rid of. I think next year we will get rid of Lingard, we'll get rid of Ighalo, we'll get rid of Jones, we'll get rid of Rojo, we'll get rid of Sergio Romero, because Sergio Romero is now our 3rd choice goalkeeper. We could get rid of Fosu-Mensah. We could get rid of Matic. We could get rid of Juan Mata. There's obviously been rumours of Daniel James possibly leaving next year. There's been rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan because Brandon Williams is now our third choice left back. And earlier on in the season there was rumours of Dean Henderson going out on loan. The January transfer window will be Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Now, we have been in a good vein of form recently. We haven't lost an away game yet in the Premier League this season. We've won just 2 games at Old Trafford so far in the Premier League this season. But Solskjaer's not under pressure at the moment, reflecting on our good vein of form, but he has been under pressure quite a few times since he got appointed in as Manchester United manager, because we have endured some bad periods. We're enjoying a good period at the moment, and we enjoyed a good period last season when we went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions. You know, was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. And I think Manchester United will win another Premier League title. I'm very, very sceptical that it will be this season. We are still in the title race because we are sitting 3rd. I think maybe we could win it next season or maybe the season after, but certainly 21 is coming. Solskjaer said a couple of times this season that Man United can win the Premier League, but he said prior to the game against Leicester that Man United must ignore Premier League title talk. Still a long way to go yet in the season. We're near the midway point. As you all know, we drew with Leicester City yesterday 2-2 at the King Power Stadium. Solskjaer gave his perception on the game. He said a draw is not the worst result, but he's disappointed that we didn't get all 3 points. Because he pinpointed the good chances that we had in the game. He mentioned that we had better of the chances than Leicester. And Solskjaer said we should have closed down quickly for both of their goals. So really, both of Leicester's goals shouldn't have happened. But it was a missed opportunity, because if we'd have beaten Leicester, we'd have been second, just 2 points behind Liverpool, plus a game in hand. Obviously, Marcus Rashford scored our first goal. He's now got 50 goals in his career for Man United in the Premier League. That is, I think he's got 80 goals in all competitions. Rashford took his goal very, very well. He also missed a sitter right at the start of the game. Should have converted that. It was a lovely ball from Fernandes. He also had a great chance in the second half. Produced a fantastic save from Kasper Schmeichel. Obviously, Leicester's equaliser was very, very good. You know, De Gea couldn't really do much to prevent that. It was Harvey Barnes that got it. James Maddison with the assist. You know, our second goal came from Bruno Fernandes. Lovely goal it was. Lovely ball from Edison Cavani. And Cavani came on and made an instant impact. And obviously Leicester's second goal obviously was at Axel Tuanzebe own goal. But it initially got given to Jamie Vardy at the first. But like I said to you, Leicester are a good team. You know, Brendan Rodgers has really transformed them. You know, Brendan Rodgers has been in charge of Leicester now for almost 2 years. Last year, I think he signed a 5-year contract with them. You know, Leicester aren't only been consistent under Brendan Rodgers, they was also very, very consistent under Claudio Ranieri, because they won the Premier League title under Claudio Ranieri back in 2016. And they have got some good players of Leicester. You know, Jamie Vardy's good, but he was very, very quiet yesterday in the game. I think he had a couple of chances. One of the chances was that offside one. But prior to that, was totally anonymous, Jamie Vardy. I thought Ndidi had a good game for Leicester. I thought Tielemans had a good game for them. Fofana did well for them at centre half. James Justin didn't have a bad game either. Harvey Barnes enjoyed a good game. You know, we did do the double over Leicester last season. You know, we're beating them 2-0 at the King Power on the final day of last season in the Premier League. That result obviously got us qualification for the Champions League, and beating them 1-0 at Old Trafford. Didn't we? Now obviously our next game is Wolves. That's at Old Trafford. And Manchester United must get back to winning ways. Wolves haven't been as consistent this season as they have been in recent years. Nuno Santo, though, is a pretty good manager for Wolves. He has been at Wolves now for quite a few years. Before he was at Wolves, he was at Porto, before then Valencia, and before then Real Ave. So Wolves is the 4th club in his managerial career so far. Wolves have also got some good players. Obviously, Raul Jimenez, he's one of their key players. He's out with injury till January. Don't forget, Man United have been in a few times for Raul Jimenez before. They've obviously got Adama Traore. He's one of their key players. They've got Moutinho. He's one of their key players. Neto. He's one of their key players. Dendoncker, I think he's been out of injury recently. Ruben Neves, he's also one of their key players. Connor Cody, definitely one of their key players. Wolves have made quite a few signings this year, by the way. You know, they obviously brought Fabio Silva in. They brought Nelson Semedo in from Barcelona. They brought whoever in from Liverpool, I think it was. They brought Fernando Markel in. They brought Matheson in from Rochdale. Has he gone out on loan, back out on loan to Rochdale for the remainder of the season? They got Vitina in as well. Both games against Wolves last season in the league were a draw. Obviously, it was 0-0 at Old Trafford. That's when obviously Bruno Fernandes made his debut for the club. I think he had the most touches in that game, and it was 1-1 at Molineux. Played them in the Cup as well last season, beat them in the replay 1-0. Wolves knocked us out of the FA Cup quarter-final a couple of years ago. And obviously they reached the FA Cup semi-final for the first time in 21 years. Wolves let Diego Jota go. Don't forget, during the summer he went to Liverpool. He was one of their key players. They let Matt Doherty go to Tottenham. After Wolves, we have got Villa. That's New Year's Day. Then after Villa, it's Manchester City in the Carabao Cup semi-final. So games are coming up thick and fast for Manchester United. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season as Manchester United manager. And I did say, didn't I, this was always going to be a big season for him. And I said to you, if we can finish in the top 4, the top 3 this season, and if we can win a trophy, I think that would represent a very, very good season for Manchester United. Now, the Carabao Cup is a chance of a trophy because we are into the semi-finals. It's very imperative that we get our first trophy on the board under Ole. And, you know, we haven't won a trophy for almost 4 years. Solskjaer was saying prior to the Everton game that our players are desperate to learn how to win trophies. Like I said on my recent video, does Solskjaer deserve more respect at Man United? I think in some aspects he does. Because you've got to give him credit. You know, this season he's got us to the Carabao Cup semi-final. You've got to give him a lot of credit for what he did last season. Because last season he got us 3rd place. The second highest we've finished since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. He also got us qualification for the Champions League. And last season he got us 2-3 semi-finals. He showed tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games. I like the way he has promoted the youth because he's brought quite a few young players into the club. You know, he has made some good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million at the club and he's endured 4 transfer windows. He's got rid of some of the deadwood as well since he got recommended into the football club. But like I've said to you time and time again, my concern about Solskjaer is his decision making. Because there's been games, should I say a lot of games, where he has made mistakes and that's obviously cost us. But there's been some games where he's made the right decisions. But I thought in the game yesterday, some of his selections were wrong. You know, I don't think he should have started Daniel James. Daniel James obviously started on that right wing. Probably should have started Paul Pogba and Edison Cavani. Didn't. Paul Scholes accuses Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of benching his best players in Cavani and Pogba. Donny van de Beek, he didn't play any part in the game either. Obviously, there was no Wan-Bissaka because he's injured at the moment, so we actually started Lindelof at right back. I was surprised why we started him at right back, but didn't enjoy the best of games and Lindelof went off injured. But I thought his substitutions were right because in the game against Leicester he brought Pogba on, Cavani on and Axel Tuanzebe. And I still believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is out of his depth at the football club. Reflecting how long he's been at Manchester United, he's learned quite a bit and he's gained managerial experience because he has been at the club now for just over 2 years. I think he still needs to identify his best 11, does Ole, because I don't think he knows his best 11, to be honest with you. I know what our best 11 is. You know what I mean? But before Solskjaer came to Man United, he obviously was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. And he enjoyed a very, very short tenure at Cardiff. He got Cardiff relegated and that's why he got sacked from Cardiff. But whether Solskjaer's managerial tenure works out or not, I still adore him. And at the end of the day, he is a club legend. I can assure he will be Man United manager next year. He could still be Man United manager at the end of this season. It depends on how things go. I think for us to win the title, we've got to make more signings. We've got to address our defensive deficiencies because we have got problems in that back line because we are still conceding goals. Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof can play very, very well together when they want to, but they are 2 static centre-halves. Let's be honest. And sometimes they look too exposed and then they get forced into making mistakes. Some people think our goalkeeper's one of the problems because there has been a lot of United fans saying that Dean Henderson should now be our number 1. You know. But we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. We haven't won it now for around 8 years. Ole is our 4th permanent manager since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson left, and that was David Moyes. He endured, 9.5, 10 months at the club. We finished 7th under David Moyes, and that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup, and we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield in his first season. I give you a few of the reasons why it didn't work out under Mourinho, because obviously Mourinho had bad disputes with the board. He had bad disputes with the top players. And the board weren't backing Mourinho. because Mourinho made it clear to our board in the summer of 2018 that he wanted a centre-half in, and he obviously never got that centre-half in. And like I said, in regards to Solskjaer, he has been facing the same problem as what Mourinho was facing, because during the summer transfer window of this year, Solskjaer didn't get, the players that he wanted to get in. But he still brought some good players in anyway. We didn't get that right winger in the summer that we wanted, and we didn't get, that centre-half in. We have spent over £1 billion on players in the last, 7.5, 8 years. And we've brought around 36 players in since Sir Alex Ferguson left. But no manager at Man United, or no manager in general, is going to last as long as Ferguson did, and they're not going to replicate his legacy. Ferguson endured 27 years with us. He won a total of 38 major honours, including 13 Premier League titles. Ferguson didn't settle in straight away though, because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. So, if Ferguson had been sacked any time within that 4 years he didn't win anything, we wouldn't have had any success, would we? So it's a good job at that point that the boards were a lot softer then. Obviously now they are a lot more ruthless. Because if you go on a 5 or 6 game winless run, then your manager's under pressure. Simple as that. But since Ferguson left, we haven't been the same. Before he came into the equation, we was poor as well. But I certainly think we can get back, winning trophies and all of that. And we can get back being competitive. Obviously, we're nowhere near on Liverpool's level at this moment in time. So, yeah. Your Wolves preview will either be today or it will be tomorrow. Wolves actually play Tottenham today, don't they? That's a big game for Wolves. So, yeah. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.